Hello, event enthusiasts. Welcome to another exciting episode of Eva Talk by 10 Times. I'm your host, Radhika, and today we have a fascinating topic on the agenda exploring the connection between product and event marketing for B2B businesses. We'll be exploring how companies are finding innovative ways to leverage both product and event marketing strategies to create immersive experiences and drive business growth. Today, we are thrilled to have Pradyut Hande with us. Pradyut is the head of product marketing and analyst relations at Akinon. Welcome, Pradyut.
Thanks so much, Radhika. Big thank you to the team at 10 Times also. Happy to be here and add value to the overall conversation and your audience at large.
We are so thankful that you could join, and I hope this, discussion does spike some discussions between the people that are going to watch our conversation. Just to give a brief overview about Pradyut, he's a B2B SaaS product marketer, mobile growth consultant, guest speaker, podcaster, and author. He has been helping high growth delivered personalized customer experiences at scale through the power of analytics, automation, and AI. And I would like to welcome him again. And we are so thrilled to have him with us today. And I'd like to start our conversation from here. Pradyut, with this, I have the first question. What are some of the effective pre event marketing strategies that can help build anticipation and both interest in event and featured products?
Good question to kick off the conversation. So I think, Radhika, what any company in the B2B space, whether they're selling hardware or they're selling software, like a SaaS business, for example, it's really very important to understand what the key objective is. Whenever you are either participating at an event or you are launching your own event property, so are you doing it for purely like a brand building objective? Are you doing it to promote the ethos and the thought process of why you exist, which is basically product evangelism? Or are you doing it to purely generate leads and future businesses, right? So very often there will be like a cause effect relationship, one will influence the other. So but it's very important to have clarity on what the objective of any event that you participate or launch or drive actually is,
Yeah.
right? So the second thing is, once you have, like, let's say you're a software company in the digital commerce space, so you help e-commerce companies increase revenues, engage with customers better, manage back-end operations, all of that. I'm using a hypothetical example here.
Yeah.
Very important to understand who your ideal customer persona is, your target audience, right? Are they going to be attending the event? Yeah, and if feasible, if you're working with organizers, can you get access to the entire list of past attendees from a previous edition, or like the confirmed attendees who will be joining the forthcoming edition? So do these ICP target audience, does that fall into your target account list? Because if your objective is, let's say, to like drive revenue, you want to maximize impact from that particular investment in that event. As a, like, if you're just sponsoring it or you are setting up a booth, you need to understand who's coming to the event. Do they fall into your target account list? um, Now, from a pre-event marketing perspective, a great way to start is, once you have access to a little bit of data, contact information, just briefly creating and crafting an email campaign where you're introducing your product, your brand, your services. You're not really doing a hard sell, but just getting some of those target accounts, the key stakeholders from those target accounts attending this event, just letting them know who you are, the fact that you will be at this event, inviting them to visit your booth, to just have a normal conversation, or drop by to collect some company specific swag. Or let's say, for example, you're at an event where you are probably delivering the keynote address, or you
Okay.
are delivering, like a presentation of sorts, and
Yeah.
invite to attend that session. You have
Yeah.
nothing to lose at this stage, right?
Yeah.
Um, you could also be part of an event where you want to invite some of the prospects that you're already in conversations with. So you might want to like reach out to them on personal channels like WhatsApp, letting them know that, hey, I'm going to be in Barcelona on XYZ date. It would be great if you.
Pradyut, we'll have to cut. We'll have to cut. Yeah, because we can't hear you.
Why is that? I'm not
Okay,
sure.
now your voice came back. Yeah, I think you were at Barcelona, so you can
Barcelona.
continue from there, and then I'll edit that part.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So let's say, for instance, your company is sponsoring or is part of an event in Barcelona. You have some prospects there who you want to engage with. Just drop a personal message on WhatsApp or
yeah,
personal chat, inviting them to the event, saying, "Hey, I'm going to be here in Barcelona at the event on XYZ date. Would be great to just catch up at our
yeah,
booth, just have a conversation." Things like that. Some of the other things that you can do to drive up pre-event marketing buzz is maybe just send out a quick survey or an intake form via email
okay,
to understand what the actual problems or pain points of your target audience are, because that will influence the kind of product demonstrations you make at the event per se, or the presentations, the content of the presentation that you make at events, right? So you don't want it to be absolutely generic. If
yeah,
you're attending an event, that is catered to a specific industry like retail or like grocery or automotive, for example, if your product services those particular industries, you want to make it as contextual and as relevant as possible. So something like that. Another thing that could also work could be like running a very specific promotional campaign, like if you drop by our booth, sign up for a demo, etc., we can give you like an extended trial period, or
okay,
even like offering a discount, for example, on the product itself if they sign up as a customer. So just tailor making all of that. I mean, another way to create a lot of buzz is, let's say you're a fairly established brand in the market in the enterprise space. You could actually even do like a product launch at a
okay,
specific event, right? Because you're creating buzz. I mean, you don't have to be the Apples and the Googles of the world to be having your own product launch events, but you can do that at industry events too and create a lot of buzz.
okay,
Uh, whether that and it gives you a great opportunity to seek active feedback from the market, because you're presenting something or you're launching something in real time, and then you have an opportunity to have conversations with attendees and your prospects who are at the event in person, right? So you can get their thoughts as well. So it's a great way to like marry the entire concept of brand building
yeah.
and product marketing as well. So those are, I think, some of the ways that brands can actually drive pre-event marketing buzz, especially from like a B2B context.
Yeah, I suppose just like we work in B2C events, personalization in this current scenario is very important, just like you explained. That probably, reaching out to the uh, other clients and probably making a personal effort that would really make a difference, is what I could get as a crux of
Absolutely,
Pradyut,
absolutely,
what Pradyut
yeah,
explained.
right.
So, yeah. Okay, so how can interactive product demonstrations be incorporated into events to enhance engagement and understanding of the product's value? Like, what are your
Um,
thoughts on
as,
it?
as I, yeah, yeah. As I mentioned, see, whether it's B2C or B2B, right? One
Yeah,
size never fits all. At the end of the day, you might
yeah,
have a product that is supremely mass market oriented, or you could have like a niche product. But even in every product segment or customer segment, one size will never fit all, right? You
yeah.
can, so even at like events, for example, in like a B2B software context, I'm going to use that often as we converse, because that'll make it more relevant and the story
Yeah,
remains more uniform. So I mean, you can always have like a like an overarching brand or a product video that's playing on loop on your screens next to your booth, right? All that will do is it's going to create a little bit of curiosity for those who are interested. I mean,
yeah,
it can be, as I said, playing on loop, but it's not going to appeal to everyone. It's a very mass content collateral. um, but when it comes to like personalization, for instance, you have, platforms and tools like consensus or go consensus in today's market, where you're not just building like a very generic platform or product demo video at all. What you're doing is, you're actually tailor making the demo video based on who is going to be watching it. So, for example,
Okay.
a CRO, for instance, will look at the product differently from the chief marketing officer of
Yeah.
the same company.
Very true.
So, depending upon the role, depending upon the jobs that they do, depending upon what their specific pain points are and how your product fits into solving their specific problems,
Yeah.
you can actually tailor make a lot of these demos. So it becomes really personalized to role, personalized to the responsibilities and the pain points of interested prospects as well. Another way to add a lot of relevance to what you're showcasing about the product is to show social proof and validation from that particular industry or that particular region, right? So, I mean, if you are talking about, creating or having a digital commerce platform in South Africa, for instance, showing them case studies of what you have done in Europe will not really like cut the deal, because they
Yeah.
will see what you have done for customers in that particular market. Similarly, industry specific, case studies or success stories that you have, automotive to automotive, fashion and
Yeah.
apparel to fashion and apparel, so on and so
Very,
forth.
very true.
They want to see what is relevant to them. And of course, the greatest degree of personalization, whether you're using tech, whether you're using tools, whether you're using AI, there is actually still no substitute for human to human interaction, right? So just having a person who's able to listen to what they're saying in real time and giving them the information that they actually need, that also becomes like supremely important as well. So a mix of using technology, contextual relevance, and marrying that with age-old classic traditional human interactions, that's the way forward to.
The essence of event marketing is to connect and network. And I suppose that works the best for the B2B markets, where you can probably explain also what you have done as a difference in the other markets. And then, of course, bringing onto the plate, as you said, the customization according to their roles and responsibilities, along with what they're looking at.
Absolutely.
So, with this, I have another question. So,
Okay.
how can B2B companies scale their product and event marketing efforts as they grow?
As they grow, okay. Interesting question. I've been on both sides of the fence, where I've, helped scale companies from like a early stage startup phase of growth to, like enterprise. So it really depends on, again, I would say like 5 to 6 really, really important factors. You need to understand the size of your total addressable market. Like,
Yeah,
how big is the market
yeah,
actually? Wherever you are, either doing an event or, creating an event from scratch and doing it, you need to understand what the size of the total addressable market is,
yeah,
which region you're operating in, because the content that you present, the way you project and position your product and solution, it'll have to have like regional differences. You cannot have like a blanket approach, because again, it ties back to the fact that personalization at different levels is key. The third thing that needs to be considered is, as a marketing function, because both product and event marketing would eventually roll back into the marketing function at any B2B organization. So it's very important to understand what the goals in terms of creating an opportunity or revenue pipeline would be for
okay,
market. What is marketing's contribution to sales or revenue
okay,
at the end of the day, right?
all right,
So how do you tie all of that back? And of
okay,
course, it comes down to budget and potential ROI, right? Because at the end of the day, you can do like, you can throw money at the problem, but you also need to know that, especially in this economic climate, marketing budgets are going to be at a premium, and ROI will have to be like revisited every time you, like host an event or, are participating in an event, right?
Yeah.
The second thing would be to like really understand the nuances and the deeper details of every market that you are operating in, because of how quickly market expectations and customer demands are also changing, right? Whether you're in B2C, B2B, customers at the end of the day are never going to stay static, right?
Yeah.
They're going to constantly keep evolving. Their expectations will keep changing. So it's really important to keep going back to the market, keep listening very, very proactively. You know, what are they talking about? What are their actual pain points? Sometimes what happens when you are a marketer, whether you're a product or event marketer, you get so caught up in just marketing your product, right? You're operating in a bubble of your
Yeah.
own manufacturing, so you lose touch with what the market is actually saying, where it's headed, and what they actually want. So, for example, let me use a simple example here in emerging markets like like Brazil or India, for example. WhatsApp is such a major
Yes.
platform for conversation. Now, brands have woken up to the entire reality that hey, you don't have to come to our website or download our mobile app to actually buy our products. You
Yeah.
can actually you can purchase from us, browse our entire product catalog, make payments directly on WhatsApp, for
Yeah.
example, right? So that's a classic example of listening to where the market is headed and what the customers are actually expecting.
Yeah.
And one more thing is like brands really need to be like ruthlessly judicious. This is something that I always believe in, because you may have like a great 2 3 events in a row, but if you have like two substandard events from like an expectation standpoint, you need to like rein back in your investment in future
Yeah.
events as well. So really need to be ruthlessly judicious in that regard. I also feel like another untapped opportunity, at least in the B2B space, is working very closely with industry influencers and thought leaders. Um, because it's so common, it's no longer a trend but a reality in the B2C space. Uh, but this is now gaining greater momentum in the B2B space as well, because there will be thought leaders and influencers that you can identify, engage with, create a lot of like branded content that helps your brand. It's a win-win situation for everyone,
Yeah.
because you build credibility as a brand and a product in itself, and you can never go the hard sell route, right? A customer or a prospect will purchase from you only when they are ready mentally to purchase. You can
Yeah.
only educate, inform, update, keep them interested. They'll purchase when they want to purchase, right?
Yes.
So, in that context, working closely with thought leaders, even like industry analysts and influencers, that becomes important, because you don't have to peddle a product. You really have to position your brand, your solution as an antidote to their existing problems. So that's the way I would look at it.
All right. So I suppose demographic, geographical, financial, and probably technological, all kind of factors should be considered before making
Absolutely.
the, growth factor that we just discussed.
True,
So
true.
thank you for sharing that. So with this, what are some of the effective personalization techniques that can be used at the events to better market B2B products? Just like we
Mhm.
discussed in our first and our second question, that probably personalization is quite a key in marketing for B2B products. So are there any techniques, just like you mentioned about the CRO and probably the, you know, marketing officer requiring different kind of presentations because of their different interests? So that is an interesting point. So do you have any other technique like this which you would like to share?
Um, let's look at it this way. Let's break it down into like whenever there's an event, you'll have like a pre-event checklist, what you're going to do during the event and what you're going to do post the event, right? So look at it like one by one.
Yeah.
From pre-event perspective, I think we covered most of it in like a previous response. Another thing that I've seen that some brands are doing and doing really well is, of course, you can have personalized invites, come meet us, chat with us, all of that. That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. But imagine creating value in a slightly different context. Like
Okay.
maybe that particular representative of that brand might want to have, he's obviously not, or he or she is not at the event just to meet like 10, 12 different people. They want to
Yeah.
network as well. How can you facilitate networking for your prospect of interest? Like just helping them understand, okay, hey, I know X person who you may want to meet as well. So
Yeah.
one thing is that what the event organizers do, but another thing is what you can do from like a company, sort of standpoint. Because you might have partners or other brands who are attending the same event. Can you actually like, be like a corporate Tinder at the event and like match them up and like set up meetings for them? Because you may not end up getting either sale, but you're delivering
Yeah.
you for both parties at the same time. So that's like a really interesting way to look at things from like a pre-event
Very
invitation
true.
point of view.
Yeah.
During the event, we spoke about personalized demonstrations, interactive presentations, very like tailor-made content.
Yeah.
Uh, Another way to look at it is also, like personalized corporate swag. Uh, you know, Everyone gives like coffee mugs and pens,
Yeah.
sippers. But how about, like changing it up, actually having like really cool messaging on like, let's say, fun stuff like yoga mats or like
Yeah.
there are a lot of folks who are like into long distance running, like I am as well.
Yeah.
So how are you gonna carry your phone? Like creating something like a phone case arm strap. Uh,
Yeah.
Something that's really gonna set you apart from the other folks who are giving out like diaries, notepads, and other stationery.
Basic
Um,
station.
yeah, so that's something that I've seen is working and working well for us as well here at Akinon. The third thing I would say is, it's a great opportunity to create video content, audio content as well. So if you think there's like a CEO of a top notch company who's dropping by your booth, or if you're engaging with him in like a breakout session, can you do like a short 30-second 1 minute like interview with him, just to understand
Yeah.
like his thoughts on industry trends, make
Yeah.
him feel special in the moment. So that's pretty cool. And then thirdly,
That's
like
really
post,
nice.
yeah, post event. You can obviously have like personalized emails as follow-ups. Hey, we met
Yeah.
you, all of that. That's very common.
Yeah.
What is not common is like creating very contextual and personalized offers and discounts. So
Yeah.
you see like the size of the company, you understand that hey, they are more interested than some of the other companies that we have spoken to. Can we give them like a slightly discounted package or like a startup, like a trial
Yeah.
for instead of 30 days, can we do it like for 60 days? Things like that, like just personalizing the follow up in order to get them to eventually become a contracted customer down the line. You could also like invite those who you want to for maybe like a future event that you are running, or like a physical event that you may be at in the future as well, just to keep that dialogue and conversation flowing.
Yeah.
So I think these are like some of the ways that personalization at different stages, different techniques can be utilized in like a B2B.
That's really nice. So we've discussed about personalization and probably in the format of connecting human to human, networking, and probably giving away gifts, etc., and offers. The very important point that we discussed. But how about how do you think that technologies bridge the gap between product and event marketing in the B2B space? Probably, yeah, we
Mhm.
talked about the personalization techniques, but do you
Yeah.
think tech can also do the bridging?
Oh no, absolutely. And a lot of this personalization that we spoke about will be driven by tech, is being
Yeah.
driven by tech already, right? So there are platforms and tools that allow you. I mentioned that you can create like these personalized demo videos. It's almost like I don't know if you've seen Bandersnatch on Netflix from back in the day, like 4 5 years ago, where you can choose your ending. You can
Okay.
choose which direction in which you want the demo to flow. If you're
All
not
right.
interested in a specific aspect of the product, you can say that, like I want to see more of Y instead of X.
Yeah.
So you can choose the path in which the interactive demonstration can flow.
Okay.
And obviously that's easier to do when there's a human involved, but it's a lot more challenging to do when you're doing it on a tech platform, and you can either do it, the person viewing the demo can actually like either click or like just touch the screen and then just choose the direction in which they want to go, whatever is most relevant to them.
It
person.
should flow in that direction.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
that's
will flow
quite
in
fun.
that particular direction. And back in the day, like I don't know if you've heard of like the Goosebumps
Okay.
story collection. You
Okay.
can choose the ending. You can choose the ending. If you want to be scared, you know read
Okay. You
like
go towards the
get to
scary
page
part.
number whatever. If you want like it to be like mild, then you continue on the same path. So
Yeah.
very similar to that. That's being extended into like a product demonstration
Yes.
aspect as well. Um, Now from a tech aspect, you obviously need like data will be oil and soil at the end of the day, right? So the ability to use technology to capture leads in the moment, right? Not every time will someone come and they'll drop their business cards in your fishbowl,
Yeah.
but you also need tech that can automatically scan the QR codes on their delegate card and landing,
Yeah.
and then
Very true.
immediately funnel that back into your CRM systems.
Yeah.
Just having access to a robust CRM system that can intake all of this data in real time, and having like those email marketing campaigns ready in place, because you may be at a 3-day event, you may be at a 1-day event, but you need to have like that cadence in flow that can start engaging with a lot of these leads or prospects that you interact with at an event. So
Yeah.
having that data angle, the CRM angle, that's all part of tech. um, what else? What else? What else? I mean, there are touch screens and digital kiosks as well that you can use
Yeah.
at your booth as well.
And I suppose that's good for feedback too. I think
Oh,
that's
absolutely. You can
quite an
gather feedback.
interactive way to take the
Oh,
feedback.
absolutely. I mean, you would have seen, like you just have like five emojis,
Yeah.
angry to like super happy,
Yeah.
just sentiment analysis, just
Yeah.
capturing sentiment. I mean, you can have like gamified elements as well. Like, you can have like short quizzes that people can just like scan the QR code,
Yeah.
go through. If they get like 5 out of 5 or like 4 out of 5, they get like a special gift that they can collect
Yeah.
at the end of the event. Just building engagement and helping them understand a little bit more about your product as well,
Yes. Yes.
right? So all of that is part of the, I would say, like
I
the
think
tech.
the quiz part is quite fun that you could
Because
pre have some knowledge and probably utilize that towards gaining something out of it. So yeah,
absolutely,
I think that is a great idea.
it's not just about like educating. You have to entertain also, right? We're all
Yeah, of
actually
course, yes.
we're in the attention economy, is what
Yeah.
I call it, right? And if you keep talking about like, especially in B2B, the most of the products are, let's face it, dull, drab, and boring, right?
Yeah.
They're not exciting. So how do you make things exciting? That is the challenge for a lot of B2B companies.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of this tech can help you, like gamify interactions.
Yeah, I think that was really nice. So, with this, I have the final question for you. So, what advice would you give to B2B businesses that are new to integrating product and event marketing?
It's good to be sitting on this side of the fence and giving out advice, but I wish that I had heeded some of this advice back in the day as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's like start with like first principles. Really important to define very clear objectives. I mentioned some
Mm.
of them in the beginning. You need to know that, hey, just because my competitors are going to be here, I should be here. That's not a great excuse to be there, because
Okay.
maybe their audience is slightly different, their objectives are different, their budgets could be drastically different.
Yeah.
Very often in B2B, at least, it's almost like a me too approach. Like, hey, I
Hmm.
don't want to miss the boat. I'm having FOMO. I need to jump on this bandwagon. You can't do
Yeah.
that. You need to be really, really critical and brutal with yourself. Understand what your objectives are. Like pure play brand building, lead generation, focus on revenue. What is it? Really important. Second is like truly understanding your audience. Like there could be events that you may feel are really relevant to you because it says that, hey, this is like a marketing tech event or it's a digital commerce event. It's only for retail, grocery. So on the surface, it seems like, hey, this is a great fit for my organization to be a part of. But you need to like scrape beyond the surface and get to like the details and understand, hey, tell me who's actually coming, right? And map it to your ideal customer persona or your buyer persona, like those who actually buy your product, who are interested in your company and product, right? The third thing would be to actually align and really regionalize the marketing collateral. because what works for you in mature markets like Europe may not work for you in emerging and fast developing markets like Southeast Asia,
Yeah.
right? So very important to understand what message clicks in which market and tailor make it according to that region and industry as well. Fourth thing I would say is brands should really be looking at events as like a content creation and content repurposing opportunity.
Okay.
There's so much that you can do at an event, right? You're
Yeah.
posting live social media updates, you're doing lives on Instagram, you're on x.com, you're posting on LinkedIn, you're getting video snippets from those who are dropping by your booth, just getting like sound bites of sorts. You could do like a post-event blog post and an entire like summary video as well. The options and opportunities are aplenty. You just need to figure out how you can leverage those that 1 day or those 3 days for that particular event to create content, and for that you need to have like a plan in place.
Yeah. I
Um,
think these days events are a great platform for influencers, etc., that join in from the same categories and probably promote it more than for the upcoming editions too. So I think creating buzz through event on the live stage, even people join in on the last days because of the buzz that was created on the
no,
prior
absolutely.
days.
Absolutely. Like it's almost as though, see, you can have a plan and a checklist in place. You can
Yeah,
follow all of that, but you don't know what's going to click on that particular day.
yeah,
So, I mean, something super exciting could be happening, and you have to pivot from your set plan and adapt to this on ground situation that's changing rapidly. And
yeah,
it could be a big hit or it could be a
yeah,
big dud, but
yeah.
you must have to like roll with the punches there. The next point actually that I was going to make is really getting your tech stack in place, because it's your data, your CRM system, your marketing automation system, event management systems as well, right? Like we are having this conversation on a
Flow.
platform that enables this.
Yeah,
I mean, Zoom came into our lives when, hey, we needed it.
yeah,
You have so many other like virtual event platforms as well today. So very important to have that tech stack in place to optimize your investment in both event and product
very
marketing.
true, very true.
And I would say lastly, we've spoken about like personalizing it as
Yeah,
much as possible. But lastly, I think I want to make a point about, like going back to the drawing board and analyzing what's worked and what's not. Like a proper post-mortem analysis of every single event that you participate at or you're driving, because you you're anyway gathering customer feedback, but you also have like data analytics at your disposal to use, whether it is sentiment analysis, whether it is like if you're doing a webinar, for instance, how many
yeah,
people joined, how many people stayed till what time, what was the engagement level, the questions that were asked. There's so many data points to actually look at and use
true.
as intelligence
Yeah,
to better yourself in the future. So
very true.
that's how I would like summarize it. And don't be afraid to experiment. If you
Yes,
play within
very
budget,
important.
experiment, because at the end of the day, B2B will always be slightly more complex, complicated as compared to B2C,
B2C, yeah.
right? So if you can bring some very fun elements from B2C marketing in the event marketing context to B2B, you never know what clicks and what's going to work for you.
Yes. I suppose what works for B2B would definitely work for the B2C market, somehow or the other.
Well, we can never make generalizations, but
Yeah,
yeah, you never know really what clicks. You can follow playbooks, but
yeah.
at the end of the day, you have to make your own playbook and keep updating it every 6 months.
So thank you, Pradyut. Thank you for sharing all the pointers. And I suppose with our chat, there have been all sort of pointers that we had discussed, from probably personalization for each and every group of people to what segments they are coming from, along with keeping in mind the ROI and the tech that is developing, and also keeping people engaged through the right essence, that is event marketing, connecting and networking. So thank you for sharing these pointers, and I suppose definitely people are going to get some help. And the last question that we had, the advice that you have shared, maybe people who are just starting off can integrate that. and that would be really helpful for them. Thank you again for joining in, and
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think we unpacked a lot of interesting insights. It was
yeah,
a walk down memory lane for me also. Drew on a
yeah.
lot of my past experience and what I've learned, and just happy that we could connect and happy to share what I've learned so far.
Thank you again. And thank you everyone for joining in and watching our conversation. We'll be back with another conversation very soon. Thank you.